Jamar.
What's going on YouTube?
Washington.
This is Jamar for here once again. Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Jamar for here once again, here to discuss this week's episode of Love and Hip Hop Miami. Now I know I did not, hold on, let me move this camera, child. I just feel like, I don't know what it is. Okay, the lighting seems to be a little bit better right here. Okay. So, I didn't do an episode last week, honestly, just because a lot of stuff, it just got busy. And by the time I was able to do it, it was already 3-4 days afterwards. I was like, who really cares at this point? So, I just took the L and said I would come back this week. I didn't really miss much anyway, to be completely honest. And now that as I kind of reviewed my notes here, this is going to be a relatively short video. Mainly because it feels like this season is kind of just dragging on at this point. And I know they filmed the reunion, so I'm guessing we're only going to get maybe 10 episodes total. So I'm just ready to get it over with, or at least for something else to start happening. So we'll wait and see. But so far, we start off where we left off with last week with Kiara versus Gunplay and this whole drug issue. Now, of course, Kiara's point is she's going to be very upset because she doesn't want Gunplay to, you know, start battling back with these demons that she dealt with back in the day when he was in Miami with the drugs and whatnot. And I feel like a therapist would have a better point of view with this subject, because his only means of doing the drugs, at least as far as we know or understand from the show, is that he's dealing with the death of his, you know, good friend passing recently from gun violence, and it's his way of coping with, you know, the grief. And I don't even think that being in Miami necessarily has, excuse me, as much to do with it as the death does. Because had the death happened and he was in, you know, LA, for example, it still would have hit him hard, and he probably still would have reverted back to using again. So I don't think necessarily she should blame the city for, you know, what's happening. It's just him not being able to completely cope with his emotions, not being able to handle the aftermath of his friend's passing, which, you know, people deal with grief in their own ways. Not all of them are healthy, as we can see. Some people drink, some people just fall into depression, they cry, you know, whatever helps them soothe the pain. Unfortunately for him, his is cocaine, which is, of course, we know, self-harming to all parts of the multiple parts of the body, I should say. So she goes and, you know, talks to Chinese Nikki and her daughter, and, you know, her daughter says that she once had an issue where she was doing all this stuff for somebody that she loved, and she doesn't want to feel like, you know, she was like dancing on the pole for him, doing all this stuff for him, and she doesn't want Kiara to feel like she has to deal with this kind of, I don't know if it's considered abuse, a form of abuse necessarily, to try to stick with somebody who's doing self-harm behavior and they're not really trying to listen to what you're saying. I'm not sure. It can be, depending on how you look at it. But she's trying to let her know that she doesn't have to do this, because Kiara was like, look, you using again the whole, one of the factors of us being together was you got to change some stuff. You can't be doing this cocaine and all these drugs if we're going to be together. If you're going to be with me, you got to stop that. And the fact that he's broken this promise is kind of like, look, I mean, if you just feel that you need to use, then peace out. You ain't the only, you know, I ain't going to use the word that she used, but you ain't the only one in Miami, all right? We can go out and get others. And he didn't get all mad and did a whole Chris Brown situation, throwing the chair. I'm like, all right, that chair was probably 5 pounds, but okay, that's not really all that impressive. And she walks off and he's screaming, you know, flee and doing all this sort of stuff, acting all bizarre and crazy, and it was weird. But you could tell that he was out of character because, of course, he was high. And she's like, I don't have to deal with this. And I don't feel like she should either, because that's a mess. So, moving past Kiara and Gunplay and them, we're going to get to Trina. Trina's being honored for her philanthropic efforts to giving back to the city of Miami and the girls who live here, which is great that she's nominated for an award for getting her own day of the week, or her own holiday specifically. And they're calling it Trina Day, and, you know, everybody's happy, good lucky, great. She meets in the car with Joy afterwards, and, you know, of course they're saying, oh, you know, it's so good, we're both doing our own accomplishments, this, that, and the fourth, blah, blah, blah. And she proposes that since her and Trick Daddy, he's offered to pay for this, the lawyer to get this divorce done, that they should have a double date. Now, for some reason, and I didn't think about this till we got to the double date scene later on, why Trina didn't inquire who she would be bringing to the double date, because she know it was about to be Trick Daddy. I'm surprised she didn't think to inquire, like, well, who are you bringing on this double date? But instead, Joy kind of distracted her because she was saying, oh, there's somebody in our circle who thinks that you're really cute and always wanted his shot at you. And Trina's looking like, who are you talking about? Because when somebody says something like that, you start, cycling through the list of friends like, who secretly wants me? And I'm trying to, it's kind of like, it's exciting, And she says this is a guy named Raymond who apparently has been a part of Trina's team for many, many years. They're really close. That's her best friend. He knows her better than she knows herself, apparently. And usually, not all the time, but usually somebody who's you've been close friends with for such a long time, somebody who you have that type of relationship where you've invested the time to get to know each other, those are usually the formula and the base for a successful relationship. But a lot of times people are afraid to take that step because they've had such a wonderful friendship that when you try to take a friendship to a relationship, different sort of feelings get involved. And should that relationship not work, it could leave a potentially damaging, experience laid on the friendship that was so good. And now the friendship's not the same and it's ruined and they can't really enjoy each other the way that they wanted to. And not a lot of people want to do that. So she's thinking about it, and I'm looking at it, and Raymond looks like an attractive young guy. We get to the scene where they're at the double date, and of course, Trina's a little taken aback that it's Pleasure P, which is a little random to me, but then again, this is Mona Scott Young. Mona has to incorporate her cast members to do stuff together, even if it's, BS. Sorry about that. But, so she walks in a little bit taken aback to Pleasure P, so she starts going off like, well, I just want you to know that she's just freshly out of this relationship. I feel like she should just be, single, not really be tied down, this, that, and the fourth. Basically laying out to Pleasure P like, don't be trying no funny stuff, and so to speak. And Pleasure P's like, look, she's newly single, I'm newly single. I'm not really looking for her to jump right into anything either, but, we just been cool. This is just something, it's the first phase of moving on from our relationship, which cool. And then you see, like, Trina brushing stuff off the boy's face, like off his eyebrow, and grabbing his chin, and he's just over there just blushing and gushing, cheesing out this world. And he's like, why are you blushing? He's like, how can I not? And you could tell that he really does care for Trina, and it was really cute to see. And you could tell that she was loving the attention. So hopefully that works out for her. So we get to one of the two messier parts of this episode. Let me make sure ain't nothing else. Well, yeah, one of the two remaining parts, and that's why this is going to be very short because there wasn't really much to discuss and dissect this episode, but we're going to get it. What we got. So, Baby Blue decides to reach out to Shay about a potential a modeling gig for some brand that he's doing marketing for. Asked her to come model the underwear, the lingerie. So they're at the photo shoot. She's taking all these pictures. Shay looks great. And of course she's appreciative because, her and Baby Blue kind of had, they were at odds at the beginning about, some words were exchanged. So she's kind of like taken aback that it's the fact that he's the one that's giving her these, opportunities. So they start talking about how he's able to do branding and marketing, for other different companies. And she's like, well, I mean, if that's the case, then this friendship can stay booming. This business friendship, can really go to the next level because she wants to promote her Shay J Fit line, her new fitness line. She said she lost 40 pounds. And wants to let other people know that she can lose the weight too. Now, the only thing about that is, if you promote a business like that, of course, anything like fitness, I feel like the fitness industry is so oversaturated that where everybody is offering relatively the same thing. And I'm not sure what Shay's business plan is to stand out other than the fact that she's this reality person. You kind of need somewhat of a, I don't want to say a gimmick, but you need something to help set you apart from other people who are also in your field, training, doing workout videos, what have you. So Apparently, that's what Baby Blue was willing to do. Help her get out there, do some photo shoots, hire a distributing company to help her put her stuff out there, her image, whatnot, her brand, which is great. However, she has to kind of let it be known that her and Pleasure P kind of broke up because she's like, well, I want to have this relationship, this business relationship with you, but how is that going to look to Pleasure P with you working with his ex? And he's like, dang, y'all broke up. Like, dang, I'm mad that the time that we finally get to be on the same accord is when y'all decide to break up. And then he starts, which in typical dude fashion, starts talking about, oh, well, that means that I can flirt with you now. Like, I mean, we're not going to smash. And he's sitting there with this big, dumb, goofy smile with his grill in his mouth. And Shay just looking at him like, no, we will never have sex. Never in life. Like, how you going, like, I mean, I don't know how serious that was. I feel like dudes would try females just to see if they can. Okay? And they may not even really be hurt by it, but they just want to do it just to see if they can. So, they're in the studio. He's like supposed to be mixing and mastering some, or reworking some Pleasure P hits, I guess, for a re-release. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be for, but that's what he's supposed to be doing. And Shay walks in, and of course they talking about, the business and whatnot that they plan on doing. However, Pleasure P decides to walk in, and of course he feels away. He's mad. And I'm like, I mean, I guess, because it kind of makes you wonder, okay, so what are y'all doing? Why are y'all here together, alone? And I've not been privy to this by neither one of y'all. Is his stance right now. And so when Baby Blue talks about how he was just there, they're going to try to go into business together. He's going to try to help her, her project. I'm working with her, this, that, and the fourth, blah, blah, blah. Pleasure P starts going off like about brotherhood and loyalty. And you didn't think to tell me that you was working with my ex? And he starts going, well, you can't work with her, this, that, and the fourth. And in the confessional, Baby Blue says, look, I'm a grown man. Can't nobody about to be telling me who I can and cannot work with. So, which is very fair. However, I guess it's hard to say if Pleasure P is due that, if it's just like necessary for him to explicitly say like what his business is, because it could just be, I don't know. I'm trying to play devil's advocate to myself right now. I could see where Pleasure P is coming from, just because only on the fact that that's his ex and he wants to, I guess, make sure that there's no funny business going on. But at the same time, he's not obligated to tell you every business move that he makes for himself. Because apparently it was just this is a way for you and I to both make money. Okay? And he doesn't have to necessarily share all of his money incomes with Pleasure P just because they're in a group together. Well, are they really together? Well, they're trying to rekindle, doing the whole nostalgia tour with Pretty Ricky. Okay, great. I can understand his potential gripe with Baby Blue. However, when he started shouting over at Shay, saying, oh, well, I saw you out with Scrappy, and you didn't tell me that you was out with Scrappy, and you ain't telling me that you were here with my homeboy, Baby Blue. But wait. This is where Pleasure P, I have to look at you a little, sideways and crooked, because you failed to give Shay any notice when you was dealing with Gabby behind her back, okay? And you was actually pursuing a relationship, trying to see if it was going to work out again, because this is somebody that you actually love. Even though Baby Blue tried it and was flirty or whatever, Shay has no intent, at least for right now. You never know, because Shay, anybody that shows Shay attention, she flocked towards. But she has no intention at this point to have any type of sexual relationship with Baby Blue. So you try to come at her as you didn't, even though you did the same thing, but worse. Chill. Like, what are you doing? You look foolish. You look stupid. So And that's when when Shay finally left and was done, about to not argue with this dumb stuff. He started going on about loyalty and Baby Lou looking thirsty. I'm like, how is it thirsty? Well, I guess if he did try to ask if he could smash though, so that part was kind of thirsty. But for the situation that Pleasure P saw, where they were just supposed to be making money and doing a business relationship, that's not thirsty. Okay? So Pleasure P was doing the most in this particular scene. And I'm just like, oh girl, stop it. So, lastly, we're gonna talk about the whole confrontation with Veronica and Amara La Negra. I know they tried to make Veronica seem less hated this week because of this whole bike ride that she did from Atlanta to Miami. It didn't work. It didn't work for me anyways, because she's still, at the very end of the episode, acted a plum dumb donkey fool. Okay? Steph LaCour tried to bring her and Amara together at some networking event, and every time that Veronica opens her mouth to talk about Amara in a negative way, I just can't help but be amazed at how her delusional level just increases every week and has just reached a peaking point or a boiling point of just, she is confused as to why her and Young Hollywood are now, working together apparently, and calling her fake and this, that, and the fourth. But let us rewind, where you thought it was perfectly okay to go on a date with this person if he apologized. That was okay then. That wasn't fake at all, according to Veronica. But yet, she's fake because she decided to work with him after they've had their apology, after he's had a sincere conversation with her, after they've, patched things over and got over the whole communication issue. So you didn't know none of that. You didn't bother to figure that out. You just jumped to conclusions, making yourself look a fool, okay? So she's saying that she's fake for that, but then as they start scrapping, of course, Amara ain't gonna be called too many things before she start, mushing faces and stuff. So they done mushed faces, and of course security breaks them up. Of course they're calling each other, the B word back and forth. But then Veronica goes and says, your wig is fake, your wig is fake. That afro is fake. Duh. Who really thought that was Amara's real hair? When we clearly saw her go through a whole photo shoot with all these different wigs on. We know it's a wig. And even Amara said in the confessional, you're not really a blonde. Do you hear me talking about you being a blonde? Or am I going to look at Steph crazy because she has blue hair and extensions? Like, what are you saying? Yes, okay, the hair is fake. Yes, I use extensions. So what? Like, what's the point? So I tell you, Veronica can go. I don't want to see her anymore. I don't care if she's had this rejuvenated whatever about this new way of life from this bike ride that she claimed to have. I don't buy it. I'm not here for her, and I'm really just ready to stop seeing her. Can we get this reunion? Are they going to fight at the reunion so they can go ahead and get her, butt whooping that she's been asking for this whole time? Because I feel like security be in the way. All right, and I want to see them really go at it to see who can really duke it out and win. But that was this week of Love and Hip Hop Miami, y'all. It ain't giving me much right now. I'm hoping now next week, with that whole Malik getting mad at Bobby for going at Jeffrey for going to Bobby's event and giving him a hug. Now they're gonna have to elaborate as to why he was there and the whole what they got going on, because last thing we saw was Jeffrey saying, Bobby tried to apologize for reasons I still don't understand. But he tried to apologize, and Jeffrey did, and said, this is over, this is done, you put your hands on me, I'm through. But yet now they're back hugging with each other. So I'm trying to see where that went down, and then Malik gonna get mad. But you thought it was okay when he was sneaking around with you when he was supposed to be with Bobby. Well, that's next week. We're gonna talk about that. But thank y'all so much for watching. If this is the first time that you're here, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Click the little bell by the subscription button if you're already subscribed to be a part of the notification squad, so you'll be notified anytime I do a new upload. Thank you guys so much for all your love and support. Mwah, 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 and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Like, share, subscribe. Jamar, Washington, Washington.